So hey guys, welcome back to the Arsenal podcast, or we called it Let's Talk About Arsenal. So I'm still trying to think of a name yet, but I guess this is the name or the title or the main series of this podcast. So today, I'm recording this 6 hours after the game against Chelsea, so there's so much to talk about. The last video somehow talked for 33 minutes, and not everything is about the game against Brentford. So I'm gonna just for today, I'm trying to cut it down just to record or talk about the game Chelsea only. I know Odegaard and Ramsdale has signed for Arsenal, but I will leave that Arsenal transfer roundup in the next video, hopefully soon, because the transfer window hasn't closed down yet, and there might be a few more transactions or transfers going to happen. But I'm gonna leave that into the next episode. Yeah, so going into today's game against Chelsea, and I thought, okay, at home, last season we beat them both home and away. I don't know, is it a sign of past history of how no, it shows that we kind of did pretty good against Chelsea last season. But you know what, Arsenal, it's so unpredictable at times, and I thought, okay, this game's at home, we might have a chance to win. But then the thought of the probability for me of for Arsenal winning against Chelsea, it's, I don't know, maybe 25% or something like that. I still hold on to miracles, but I was thinking about a 2-1 loss. It's probably what I was expecting. I'm expecting to lose, to be honest, because the current squad right now is nowhere close of competing top teams in the Premier League, and a lot of them are just really, really mediocre. So yeah, so my prediction for that game is 2-1 to Chelsea, and in the end, Chelsea beat Arsenal 2-0, and I was watching the whole game live finally. So I do witnessed every moment, every second of it. The first 10 minutes, I thought, wow, okay, we actually got something going. We actually pressed Chelsea pretty hard. In terms of the transition from the back to forward, those transition, it's pretty smooth. We have a shot on target by Smith Rowe, and that one, again, it's good football by Arsenal, but it was just unfortunate straight at Mendy. And okay, after that, I thought, okay, we're actually still showing some promising signs until we hit the 15th minute. And that goal, there's a lot to talk about. Lukaku scored. Congratulations for him, of course, to him. He came back from Inter Milan, come back as a complete striker. I'm happy to see him score. But of course, the Arsenal's a little bit bitter in the end. But yes, that goal, you can see Lukaku's playing the main target man. He lays it off back to Mason Mount, gives it to Reece James on the right hand side, crosses the middle, and turns out it's a tap in for Lukaku. But then the whole thing was so frustrated because, first of all, Bukayo Saka, in that game, you can actually tell he wasn't quite fit enough to play in that game, because a very normal track back by wingers usually carried out every time when there's a defensive action. So Bukayo Saka didn't track back in that goal, and which leaves Tierney, which leaves Reece James open, and Tierney, it's of course Scott squeezed in the middle. Technically, in that position, Arsenal should play 5 center back, but instead, usually it's Xhaka's job or Elneny's job to drop as the third center back, but it didn't happen in that goal or the goals today, regardless. So Bukayo Saka, in that part, he should be the one who tracked back to Reece James. Probably would have I would have prevented that goal. And of course, decent cross by Reece James, and Lukaku taps it in. And the frustration is Pablo Mari. He might not be as strong as Lukaku, but I still believe he is a strong defender physically. But there's no other way where he could just, just fall into his feet, and then just let Lukaku drives into the box. Yeah, I know he's a giant, but you gotta stay on your feet and try to give him a little bit of pressure. If he scores, then I wouldn't be too frustrated about that. But Pablo Mari, for the past, I think this game, I think another game against Tottenham, he is so terrified of giving away a penalty in the box. So that's why you can always see him every time when a player, when a striker, a winger, whatsoever, when an enemy opponent dribble past him, he just wouldn't, he just wouldn't continue to give pressure to the player. Instead, he would just put his hands up and just let it go. And that's how the first goal was scored. And boom, after the first goal, Chelsea has been dominating Arsenal. And then Arsenal didn't quite get back into the fight until the last maybe a minute or two in the first half. But if Arsenal, it's 2-0 down before halftime, and they couldn't score one goal, that would be the end for them. And in that case, that's what happened. Second goal, it's the same thing. Bukayo Saka didn't track back. Taney leave Reece James open, and this time Reece James score with a decent finish. And second half, it was a little bit. Of course, they're definitely more positive than negative. I think in general, defensively wise, we were not compatible in the first half. But then it turns out it was just okay in the end. Again, attacking off, shooting wise, it is a pain in the ass. The only the thing is, the whole game, I only remember 3 times that shot on targets. Smith Rowe in the first half. Saka took a deflection off Marco Alonso. Mendy makes a great save. And Aubameyang, first touch, I believe, tried to poke it through the goalkeeper. Didn't work out. And that's what it is. I mean, the total attempt Arsenal have was just really, really bad. And Arteta in the press conference, saying they're missing 8 to 9 players. But honestly, those players who've been out, like I said, Ben White, I don't think they're they're not that level yet. It's hard to compete with other teams with players like that. So yeah, in general, it's just I think it's just boring in the end. It's there's no attacking, there's no final spirit, there's no final sprint into it. We just seem so lost in the final third. Even though this time today, we didn't see a lot of keep passing it to Taney and crosses in the middle. Nothing like that. Not too much today. I guess you can tell Arteta did change the tactics a little bit. I wouldn't say it's better, but I would say this game is technically a little bit better than the one against Chelsea. But of course, Arsenal came up short with 2 goals. So, in terms of giving the ratings for every player, I'm gonna give it right here. Bernd Leno, I'll give him a 7. Honestly, Lukaku should have scored a few more, but then Leno with a world-class save, which eventually hit the crossbar. But the first 2 goals, you can't really blame him. There's nothing you could do. Tap in, and also a great finish by Reece James. Cedric, a pretty quiet game. Didn't really contribute much in the attacking final third. But I think defensively wise, the right side or the left side of Chelsea, it's not too powerful compared to the right side. So at least Cedric did a job. I'll give him a 6. Nothing special. Holding could have honestly, that goal could have scored. If Arsenal could have scored that goal, we might have a chance to tie it up or something like that, because you can tell if we actually score that goal, we might have a chance to make a comeback. I wouldn't necessarily say that we're gonna win, but we can definitely show that we're here to fight. But the fact that Rob Holding couldn't quite deal with Kai Havertz and also Lukaku, it's a bummer. And of course, the fact that he couldn't score that goal, it's a pretty free header as well. Even if he hits a target, hits it perfectly, many wouldn't got a hand to it. So I give him 5. Pablo Marie 4. He got a yellow card, but in the end, you can actually tell the second half he did a quite decent job in marking Lukaku. But then, of course, the first goal just stinks, isn't it? Because you just know he's a professional player. I know he's asking for a foul, but there's no way that is a foul, isn't it? And okay, you know what? That penalty, I think it's a 50-50. Because I think Saka is trying to like cross it or shoot it, but somehow Reece James' legs, it's right there. And I guess it's a 50-50. You can call it a penalty, you may not call it a penalty, but for me it's a 50-50. Might not be a penalty, but of course I hope it was a penalty. So left back Taney, I'll give him a 7. He actually did a good job. There's one point where Sambi crosses the ball to Taney. First up was wonderful. Early cross in the middle, but too bad nobody got to the end of it. Oh, Albert Sambi Lakonga. That guy, it's probably the joy that we're witnessing for the past 2 games. He's like what? He's like 19 or 20-year-old, very, very calm on the ball, and definitely definitely the player for the future. I wouldn't necessarily say like he is at that stage, but then he's actually showing very promising signs. He's actually fearless, very calm on the ball, and that's what Arsenal need. And yeah, he played full 90 minutes. I give a shout out to him. Probably he's the man of the match for Arsenal side. Xhaka, just a 6, nothing special. Did an okay job. Saka, I'll give it a 4, just not tracking back. That's the problem. Pepe again a 5. Nothing. I mean he took on a few players here and there, but then lost a few dribbling battles. I'll give him a 5. Just didn't really show much. Smith Rowe, very promising. I'll give him a 7 as well, or probably a 6. Did create a few chances and a little bit of a drive in the middle to create more chances. He attempted to try to go for a goal a few times, so give him that. And Martinelli, just I give him 4 or 5. It's not that he's bad, but he couldn't really do much. He couldn't really help out the team. Again, it's not the players' wise fault, but it's just it's not the ability of the players, but it's just Arteta's management to the game, strategy to the game is just like subpar. Aubameyang came back from COVID. Yeah, you can tell he's not feeling up to it, but then yeah, give a shout out for him. He's the only capable striker, that can play there. But he got shot on target, but otherwise he's been quiet. Balogun's been quiet. He didn't perform much. Tavares also came on. He actually did a pretty decent job. But Taney and also Martinelli, they're both limping off the pitch. I assume has to do with some muscle injury, but I really do hope it's nothing serious. Next game, Arsenal will be playing against West Brom. I believe it's away in the Carabao Cup second round, so I know a lot of people have been saying that if we can't win the game, or if we can beat West Brom, then Arteta time. It's probably it, isn't it? Yeah, but of course, I assume it's going to be French players going to be involved in the game, but we will see. We'll see. So that'll be all, guys. Thank you for watching my thoughts or my mini analysis of Arsenal against Chelsea at home. And I will see you guys hopefully on Wednesday. Actually, you know what? I'll see you guys most likely on Wednesday. I'll be doing the same thing. Let's talk about Arsenal. So peace out, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.